Chapter 7. A Mad Tea Party.
There was a table set out under a tree at the front of the house, and Alice began walking slowly towards it. She saw that the Hare and the Hatter were having tea. There was a dormouse on the table between them, and they were using it as a cushion. The table was a large one, but the three were all crowded together at one corner of it. And when they saw Alice, they cried out, "No room! No room!" "There's plenty of room," said Alice indignantly, and she sat down in a large armchair at one end of the table. "Have some wine," the March Hare said unexpectedly. Alice looked all around the table, but there appeared to be only tea. "I don't see any wine," she said at last. "There isn't any," said the March Hare. "Never was." Before Alice could think of something to say in reply, the Hatter took a watch out of his pocket. "What day is it?" he asked. He shook the watch once or twice and then held it to his ear. Alice thought a little and then said, "The 4th. 2 days wrong," sighed the Hatter. "I told you butter wouldn't suit the works," he added, looking in a very angry fashion at the March Hare. "It was the best butter," the March Hare meekly replied, and he took the watch and looked at it gloomily. Then he dipped it into his cup of tea and looked at it again, but he could think of nothing better to say than, "It was the best butter." Alice had been staring at the watch. "What a funny watch," she remarked at last. "It tells the day of the month and doesn't tell what o'clock it is." "Why should it?" muttered the Hatter. "Does your watch tell you what year it is?" "Of course not," replied Alice, and fell silent. "Exactly," said the Hatter, and he too fell silent. Alice sat back in her chair and waited to see what would happen next. Presently the Hatter said, "The dormouse is asleep again," and he poured a little warm tea on its nose. "I agree with everything you say," the dormouse squeaked without opening its eyes. "6 o'clock and story time," the Hatter suddenly cried, and he began waving his teaspoon until it finally pointed at the dormouse. "Your turn," the Hatter said. The dormouse slowly opened its eyes. "Once upon a time," it began, "there were 3 little sisters, and they all lived at the bottom of a well." "What did they live on?" Alice asked, with great interest. "They lived on treacle," said the dormouse. "In fact, it was a treacle well." "They couldn't," Alice began. "Shh! Don't talk so much," said the Hatter. "Keep quiet." This remark so annoyed Alice that she got up and left the table just as they were putting the dormouse into the teapot. As she picked her way through the wood, she noticed that one of the trees had a door leading right into it. "I might as well go in," Alice thought, and in she went.